Sounds good. So yeah, this is Splatterhouse. It's a fairly simple game. Walk from left to right, punch a bunch of stuff, shoot a bunch of stuff, whatever. Gonna go to the title screen, and time will start now. Storyline wise for this game, one second. Okay, sorry about that. Storyline wise, there's not really much story to it. You're playing as actually a college student that ends up going to his professor's mansion in the middle of nowhere with his girlfriend. She ends up getting kidnapped. You end up basically getting pretty much killed. But then, kind of in a JoJo sort of way, you end up finding a mask that ends up turning you into Jason Voorhees. So you go around, go from left to right, try and rescue your girlfriend. Spoiler alert, that does not happen in this game. And yeah. There's actually 3 games in the original trilogy, and then they had a remake that came out for the 360 and PS3. That was pretty fun. Actually came with the original 3 games as unlockable content. But this is the first boss. As you can tell, there's nothing to it. You just keep punching stuff. A lot of the bosses in the first 3 games have kind of like a general FU moment at the end of them, where there's some kind of surprise that can hurt you, like this. The second boss has a chandelier that falls from the ceiling after you think everything's done, that kind of stuff. But that was the first boss. Like I said, easy peasy. You'll probably notice from time to time that I'm going to be punching really quickly. That is not me mashing. I'm actually just taking advantage of the TurboGrafx' turbo buttons that it has. So nothing too fancy there. Oh, come on. That was my own fault. And then one more thing as well in terms of general gameplay. The jumping slide kick is actually the most powerful move that you have at your disposal. It's a little bit tricky to pull off because the timing's kind of weird on it. Basically, you have to be holding down and forward in a direction like right before you land and hit the attack button. But it does a bunch of damage, so it's handy. But for the sewer section here, just using the 2x4 because it has decent reach. So slime monsters are annoying. But yeah, this game originally started off as an arcade game. You can tell there's some moments that kind of carry over from the arcade days. Yep, just as a heads up, flashing lights warning. My apologies, I forgot to mention it ahead of time. Oh, come on. But this is very much a poltergeist boss. You'll see like a bunch of references and stuff. Like obviously, Rick is based off of Voorhees, like I mentioned before, and there's just a bunch of stuff to it. Okay. Poltergeist boss is done. Flashing lights are done for now. The final boss also has a bunch of flashing lights too. That's the chandelier I was mentioning earlier. And I'm going to try and do something here. I'm probably going to screw it up, but the boss in this area is a pain in the butt because he has a lot longer reach than you do, and he hits really hard. Take Nabbit. So I'm already screwing this up, but let's keep going. But yeah, basically the hope is to carry the shotgun with all the way to the end of the stage. And then alternate, whatever, just go with that. There's a second shotgun at the very end, right before the boss. So I'm going to try and walk these forward. Yeah, or I'll just die. Dig nabbit. It shouldn't take too long to get back to it. But the hope of that was to just carry the shotguns with you, and that way you have a lot more bullets than just 8. But yeah, Biggie Man is a pain, because as you can tell, he has a lot longer reach than you, and he hits you pretty easily. So I'm gonna just try and get close, and there we go. That is Biggie Man down. One of the more interesting boss designs for the series. Oh yeah, that is fine. That is a negative on the nose thing. If I actually had any crafting abilities, that would be a pretty good thing to add, though. I timed that poorly. Do a little bit of jump rope there. This part stinks, and I'm actually just going to take a death here quick, because it's unpleasant. There we go. Basically, there's a few of the mirror Ricks that pop out, and they have the same moveset that you do, and they're usually pretty good at pulling it off. So I'm going to go into turbo mode. There we go. The boss of this stage isn't too terrible, so as long as I can get there with like 2 hits left, I should be okay. Come on. I'm just gonna sit here and keep kicking the air. If you get in the way, it's your own fault. So this is one of the bosses that was edited between the US and the Japanese versions. It was a inverted cross in the Japanese version, if I remember correctly. The main goal for the original, or for the first portion, is to just try and keep ahead of the ones that head to the left right away. So that way they don't really have a chance to spawn in. And this one's not bad. Alright, now we get to the worst part of the entire game. There's like 40 straight seconds of just nothing. If I remember correctly, in either the arcade version or the Japanese version, there was like a little cutscene that played here, but for some reason you just stand in one place and then get a little horror music sting at the end. Just waiting. There we go. Just going to go attack comfort. no chairs allowed. But yeah, out of the original 3 games, I think I do actually prefer the first game the most. 2 is pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of 3. They changed the general format of the game. The first 2 are basically this. But then in the third game, they have it where it's a little bit more open, and you have to basically go through a maze of a house, going from room to room and beating things up. But there are paths that you can go down that are dead ends and stuff. And basically, I think it's the first stage, you have to get to the final boss, or the boss of the stage, within like 3 minutes or something. Otherwise, your wife ends up dying, and then the third stage is the same thing, but your kid ends up dying or something. So, oh, dagnabbit. Too busy talking. This is a waste, but that's alright. But yeah, so for the third game, they changed it up, and I was not a fan. I know some people like that one the most, but not me. So, doing a little bit more exploration than I would have preferred. This little guy here is a necromancer. I'll just bring the skeletons back repeatedly. Let's go over this. Back up the ladder. And this is basically the first boss again, but just slower. Just keep walking. Nothing fancy here. But yeah, and then the Xbox 360, again, PS3 one, that was more of just like a 3D beat 'em up with a heavy emphasis on gore. And that one was alright. They left it on a major cliffhanger that's never going to get resolved because the game played like garbage and reviewed like garbage. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Plus it has Jim Cummings as the terror masked voice, and it's amusing to hear Winnie the Pooh go around and swear and be vulgar. Nope. I hate this boss. For the reasons that you can see. Basically, it outreaches you constantly. I did find a glitch that I'm going to try my best to not activate because it breaks the entire game. Basically, when you jump, your first attack is a kick, but if you hit immediately afterwards, it's a punch. And when she jumps to the top of the screen, if you punch, it's just high enough to knock her off the screen, and it just breaks the game. The entire thing just freezes up. So let's just take it safe here. I tried going for faster strats, and I suffered because of it, so let's not do that. Got a time limit to keep. Yep, that's a hit. Alright, Jennifer's dead. The end. But yeah, storyline wise, if I remember correctly, that's not technically Jennifer, it's like a doppelganger. And then the second game, you end up going back to the mansion to rescue her soul, essentially, and then you end up saving her at the end of the second game. And third game, like I mentioned, she can just die again. So, She does not have it good. This is probably my favorite song in the entire game, though. Once it gets further in, it has like a mellow melody. I guess mellow's not the right word for it, but decent. Really? I should just take, yeah. There's a reason I gave myself 5 extra minutes. And this is definitely part of it. Nope. And when I get to the boss of this stage, I'm just going to turn the turbo back on because, yeah, it's a lot easier. No, crap. Okay, I'm probably gonna die again, which was a complete pain. That's embarrassing. Especially sucks because it's during the auto-scrolling portion. But, again, it'll be okay in the end. Plus, hey, I get to listen to the song some more. I guess that's a positive. Nope. Yeah, like I mentioned, turbo can be handy sometimes, at least on the TurboGrafx controller. Alrighty, stage 7, here we come, the final stage. During this portion, there is nothing to attack. You basically just walk up to the final boss and then start fighting it. Everything that's in here, you just have to dodge. Almost there. There we go. And then you fight the origin of the mask, if I remember correctly. This part is kind of a pain because it's really hard to dodge the stones at the end there. I got super lucky practicing beforehand, but it just depends on where everything lands. Crap. Because yeah, it takes too long to start moving again after you're attacking, so. If you get unlucky, like I just did, then... Yep. Alright. Just gotta keep going. At least the stage itself is short. But yeah, you don't start off every stage with full health. You get 2 extra hearts after beating the previous boss, so I started off the stage with low health anyways. Not ideal. I probably should just taken a death to make things quicker, but too late now. I'm being way too negative here. Still a fun game. Stupid bricks. That should be fine. Yep. Nah, or not. Whatever. There we go. Nope. There we go. Ooh. You can get killed by the falling rocks at the very end too. Flashing light warning. Again, my apologies. Well, I mentioned it earlier, but here's where it's at. And that's time. So hopefully still under the 20 mark. And flash. No, not yet. There we go. I don't know, I just like that name.
All right, before we switch on to the next game, because you are our next runner, is there anything that you would like to tell people about this game in particular?
Um, Not too much. I mean, it's a fun game. My best time is 15:08, but the record is pretty far down there. Yeah, they have it optimized really well. I think the only time that it's going to get beaten is if someone finds something completely new. But yeah, there's still people that are still actively running it, as far as I'm aware. So it's a fun game. Give it a shot.
All right. Well, we actually did have 2 donations come in. We had a little bit of audio uh, fun earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and reread them out. Thank you so much to Raccoon Dog 24 for that $5 donation. And then also our very own Manix 86 saying, "Does your nose light up when you're low on HP? Good luck, Children. Send your best frosty donations." Thank you to the both of you for those awesome donations. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick intermission, just a real quick break while we set up for the next game, once again with the awesome Childragoon playing Escape from Bug Island. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.